right. Once again, the very first Bangles EP on IRS Records. This song's called Mary Street.
Looking out your door. Oh, Mary Street. Now what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You thought that cool was in someone else's shoes and makeup, sitting in your room, waiting for the moment to come.
What I'm queuing up next is actually a Breitbart video with Dennis Prager. It's called Dennis Prager Explains Battle Between Leftism and Judeo-Christian Tradition. And I'm pretty sure it's from the Fash Rally in DC this weekend. But I have not watched it. And I'm just going to say I feel supremely confident that everything he's going to say is a bald-faced fucking lie, and that I have the intellectual and wherewithal and knowledge with which to debunk it. So that's what I got queued up, fam. So this is Dennis Prager explains battle between leftism and Judeo-Christian tradition. It's 3 minutes and 16 seconds. How funny is that? You know, because like John 3:16 and whatever. Anyway, here we go. Let's make a mockery of this fucking lying piece of shit.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be with you. I wish I were with you in person. The battle in America looks political, but it is fundamentally religious.
No, it isn't.
It is leftism versus Judeo-Christian values.
And that's bullshit. And for starters, being a leftist is not in any way whatsoever at odds with the core teachings of Jesus. If you take the Beatitudes and the Sermon on the Mount, the advocation for looking out for the poor, for the stranger, for the prisoner, for the downtrodden, for the oppressed, leftism is not in any way at odds. Now, a lot of leftists don't buy into this whole, I'm going to, accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior or devote their whole lives to a religion. But he's already off to a bullshit premise. Here we go.
Leftism, not liberalism. Most traditional liberals were either
okay, and I got to stop him again. He's conflating leftism with liberalism. The two are very different. I just got done explaining the Overton window on that, right? There is liberals and leftists are not only not the same thing, they're not even remotely close to the same thing. Let me kind of hit this a little harder. Liberals have far more in common with the right wing than they do with us leftists. Both liberals and the right wing want capitalism to exist. That fucking notion alone puts them fundamentally, both of them, at odds with our project of leftism. Someone like Dennis Prager knows the difference between a liberal and a leftist. He knows. And he's fucking lying. I would venture to say he knows everything he's about to say about Jesus is a lie. And about, well, not necessarily Jesus, but Judeo-Christian tradition is a fucking lie. He's espousing a Church of the Creator notion of fucking Christianity, which is the Aryan nations notion. I can't think of the fucker's name that kind of came up with this, but it's basically Nazi Christian, right? That's what the evangelical community, they don't know it. The entire evangelical community is not aware that they have been hoodwinked and converted into buying into this Church of the Creator bullshit. They just don't come right out and say it's Church of the Creator. They don't come out and Zeke Heil like Aryan Nations people did, like Alan Butler and, his compound, where they pushed this. It was like a Jesus has our back on the white man thing. This is the John Birch Society version of Christianity. This is what fueled the Klan, that version of Christianity, which is deeply and fundamentally at odds with whether you agree with Jesus, whether you believe he existed or not. The core of his teaching is fundamentally at odds with what this piece of shit espouses. But he hasn't even gotten into it, and I'm fucking ripping him one. Let's go back to it.
Christians or Jews, or at least honored the religious foundations of America. But leftism, from the French Revolution to Karl Marx to communism, has always hated religion.
Yes.
Because it knows only one institution can keep it from its totalitarian goals.
That's absolute bullshit. The reason that leftists are fundamentally opposed to organized religion is because, as Marx said, it's the opiate of the masses. It placates people. It makes them subservient and it encourages them not to question the status quo. Religion placates people. Now, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in Jesus, or if you have religious or spiritual notions, leftists are not against this idea. I have deeply held spiritual beliefs and ideas. I don't get on Punks for Progress and talk about them a lot because that's my personal shit, yo. But it is definitely, I am a deeply spiritual person. And not all leftists are, and that's okay. What they don't want is someone coming out and saying, look, man, I have this thing that I can't prove, that's not demonstrable, that's not verifiable, that I need a whole bunch of people to buy into. And more often than not, it ends up being beholden to whatever the prevailing power structure is, whatever the status quo power structure is of the moment. The Catholic Church was very supportive of Hitler and, of course, of Mussolini. That doesn't mean that because we would be opposed to the Catholic Church's support of Hitler or Mussolini that we're against people being religious. Go be religious. We are against religious institutions having any type of power in society. And again, I would assert that Dennis Prager knows that. He's knowingly espousing an inaccurate version of what Christianity is and of what leftism is.
And that is religious Jews, religious Christians, and specifically Christianity. Let me share with you a biblical insight that explains our times. In the opening chapter of Genesis, the word bara, created, is used only 3 times to describe God's creating the world, the animals, and the human being. So what did God do the rest of the time? The answer lies in the 2nd verse of the Bible, and the earth was chaos. The natural state of the world is chaos. So what did God do during the 6 days of creation? He made order out of chaos. What does this have to do with the left?
Really?
The aim of the left is a reversion to a world without God, which means a world of chaos.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. What we have right now is essentially chaos. There's people starving and dying all over the place. We have wars. We're shooting each other, nation against nation, human against human, people eating out of dumpsters, 5 feet away from a person eating a fucking $3,000 dinner plate. This is chaos. We have chaos right fucking now. Socialists have a scientific, methodical way with which to bring out a semblance of order that doesn't oppress others and elevate a minority to fucking global fucking ruling class status. It's such fear-mongering bullshit, and the people that listen to him believe this shit. And this is why, and what they have to see, this is what they have to do. The reason that they have to fear-monger so hard on leftism, on real socialism, communism, and anarchism is because we can do a clear-eyed material analysis of the conditions we're all living under currently, right now, in this capitalist status quo. We can find the flaws in it and explain why they're flaws in proper detail. Progressives can do this because they utilize a Marxist analysis or a socialist analysis of capitalism. Their prescription is bullshit, but their description is often really good. But he has to demonize that and make anyone on the right wing afraid of it, so afraid of it that they wouldn't even entertain the notion of going out and maybe reading the 60-page Communist Manifesto. Fuck no, because a lot of them think if they read it, they'll become brainwashed and bad people and evil and the devil will get in. That's another regular thing. To attach it with this religious thing is, okay, so it's Satan. So Marxism is Satan. Don't forget, Marx was a Jew, so it becomes really easy for them to attach Jews to Satan and chaos. Because, the Bible in the second day was chaos. What a bullshit fucking thing to bring up at a political rally about fucking overturning an election and about voter fraud. He's out here talking about leftists want chaos because Genesis. And the people listening to him, though, this is why I don't laugh and why I get serious about this shit, is they believe it. And they internalize that and they go, wow, man, I'm righteous with God because I'm against the liberals that hate religion and want chaos. And we're going, no, there's a much better way to organize society that's a lot more fair. And the reason we haven't been able to do it is because wealthy fucking capitalists have, since the inception of the socialist project, made sure they put all of their wealth and power behind destroying any efforts we might put forth to, establish our project. This world is in chaos. And I don't know, I always say it's like 2,000-3,000. It's probably more like about 1 million, or let's say 3 million people. Remember, there's 7.5 billion people on the planet. And I'm going to say about 3 million of them are knowingly in charge of shit. And they're the capitalist elite. They have a semblance of stability. The rest of us do not. All right, we can get back to this dipshit motherfucker that I can't stand.
Think about it. Forcing people to say men give birth is chaos.
What? Forcing people to say men give birth? This is the first time I've even heard this phrase, men give birth. Clearly it's some type of fucking gross, deeply disconnected from reality attempt at casting aspersions on trans people. Clearly it's some type of really twisted transphobic statement, but forcing people to say men give birth. Never heard that. Never heard that. Some of my very closest friends are trans. And I've never heard them say anything like that. And I know for a fact no trans person wants to force people to say anything. They would like people to gender them correctly and call them by their right pronouns. I would like people to call me by what I want to be called by. And I'll say this really quick on the pronouns thing. Skip it. He's just a fucking scumbag, transphobe motherfucker. And that's what that was, forcing men to, whatever. People say, okay. I've never heard anyone say that. That was the first time I've ever heard anything like that. So this notion that we're trying to make people do this thing that nobody's ever heard of, fuck off.
Having drag queen story hour for 5-year-olds
Fuck yeah.
is
Fuck
chaos.
yeah. Oh, that's chaos.
Not prosecuting criminals who steal under $900 worth of items, and not prosecuting people who trespass on private property or resist arrest is chaos.
Okay, so that's some weird anecdotal, out of context, one-off thing that two things that are not related to each other, and then making a comparison between the two, and then acting like that's somehow indicative of a broader phenomenon in culture and society, when it's not. And I'm sure, even though he's not specific, trust me, the people listening to him, those were two dog whistles. They know exactly the two things he was comparing against each other. And one of them was somehow a liberal that gets away with something and somehow a right-winger that's being persecuted. And I'll guarantee you, if you deconstructed either one of those, you'd find out that the liberal that got away with something, it wasn't that, in fact, that would be a misframing of it. I can't prove it because I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm just saying this is my experience when they frame these type of comparisons against each other. This is usually the framing is, the liberal is the evil one, but the facts behind that back that assertion are dubious at best. And then the notion that the right winger was somehow a victim of something, the facts behind that will be dubious at best. And then they take these two dubious notions and compare them against each other. And then take that comparison and go, see, that's society, it's chaos. He hasn't said anything yet that's anywhere rooted in any type of verifiable reality. But it is a string of talking points that conflates religious ignorance with anger and fear of things that people don't understand, and then telling them that it's okay to be ignorant and fearful of that. In fact, that makes you in line with God. And the thing that you fear it because it's evil. It's not because you don't understand it. It's not because you haven't at any time in your life taken the time to try and understand it. It's just evil and stay away from it. It's chaos. Because this one time this liberal did a thing and this one time a conservative did things, and that's not fair. So that's how society is because of that comparison. So it's all chaos. This fucking dude.
Defunding police as more and more Americans are shot, stabbed, and murdered.
That's bullshit.
It's chaos. Having to walk around human fecal.
Okay, so check it out. Defunding the police. First of all, cops do not prevent crime. They respond after a crime has been committed. When they patrol neighborhoods, they go and rouse people and fucking harass them, and sometimes they'll find things like drugs on them, and then they go, oh, look, we prevented crime. Who knows, maybe the dude's got 3 fucking 8s, 3 grams of fucking blow on him. Now they got him for possession for sales. Oh, wow, they prevented crime. But it was actually his 3 fucking grams to get him through the next 3 days or whatever it was. And I digress. Police do not prevent crime. Okay? They respond once a crime has been committed. This thing, they've been saying this since the George Floyd uprisings, that crime is escalating. And I haven't ever seen them cite a specific study. I haven't seen a chart or a graph even. And if it was just a chart or graph, that wouldn't be enough. I want to see specific studies that cite that there's this massive escalation in violent crime, because I'm not buying it. And I've never seen any one of these motherfuckers present any type of study to back this, but they're saying it, and all the right wing is buying into it. Like, because a bunch of fucking leftists started talking about giving, defunding the police budgets and using those funds to allocated towards like mental health resources and preventative actual programs and stuff, that somehow us saying that stuff caused an escalation in crime. More people are being stabbed and shot because we just said the words defund the police. Fucking bullshit. Fucking fear-mongering bullshit. That actually facilitates the status quo of chaos. Because all these motherfuckers that marched this weekend in DC are convinced they're the ones fighting the chaos that Prager is warning us about. They're convinced they're in the street doing their heroic God duty against the chaos, when in fact it's them creating it and bringing it and fomenting it.
And use needles on downtown sidewalks is chaos.
Okay, and so you talk about walking through feces and needles on downtown sidewalks. Okay, let's legalize every goddamn drug. Okay, let's give people the resources. Let's do needle exchanges and proper testing. Let's give people the education they need for proper recovery. Let's give them the education they need if they don't want to recover to engage in proper, safe fucking use of their medicine, man. But instead, they got nowhere to do it. They've lost everything, and they've been criminalized because of their drug use, so they're homeless. So now, where do they got this shit? They have to shit on the street, Dennis Prager, you fucking asshole. Where else are they gonna shit, motherfucker? Huh? Where else are they gonna fucking use their dope? Fuck them, their bones hurt, man. What the fuck? Who cares if they're fucking high on dope? If they have a steady supply of it and it's clean, and they got clean needles, and regular fucking, these people will. The only time a fucking dope fiend robs your ass is because he's out of money and needs dope. If he's got fucking good dope, he's at home high as fuck, he ain't gonna rob you. And the only reason they're on the fucking street is because we criminalized them for being addicted, because they're unhealthy. I'm not here necessarily advocating for drug use. I just don't have a problem with people using it. If they want to, fucking go ahead, because you know what? I'm an anarchist that doesn't try to control other people's lives, man. This is the quintessential fascist point, is everything's fucked up and scary and bad, and you gotta just put all your trust in us and we'll fix it. And their remedy is to beat the shit out of anything they disagree with and smash it and oppress it and kill it, even if it means like 6 million numbers and stuff. This is a fundamentally fucking fascist notion that everything in the world is the Marxists' fault or some powerless minority's fault. And you need to give all unquestioned power to us so that we can stop the chaos that's coming for you. Oh, and by the way, they hate God. They hate God. They're that evil. They eat babies. This motherfucker.
National Public Radio just featured the author of a book titled In Defense of Looting. In Defense of Looting.
Okay. What is every goddamn museum in Europe, if not a fucking proud display of looting? Look what we stole from every single country around the world. Masterpieces. That's fucking looting. I don't know the article that NPR pushed. NPR is some liberal ass bullshit. I don't listen to NPR. But I'm going to say that I'm not going to advocate for you go out and loot, because you're going to get in trouble most likely. And then you're going to have a bunch of fines and time that's going to cost you a lot of money. And if you're in a position to have to loot to get stuff, you're poor. You can't afford all the fines and the court fees and all the stuff that's going to be handed on you if you go and loot. But fuck Walmart, man. Why do they get to hoard all the resources of the world and then put a price on it for the rest of us? They have looted the resources of the planet and then are separating the masses of the planet from those resources by putting a fucking price on it. And what the price does is solidifies the class distinctions.
That is chaos. Jews and Christians, conservatives and liberals build. The left only destroys.
Right.
It destroys everything it touches. Art, music, journalism.
Art, music,
science,
and journalism and science.
Colleges, high schools, elementary schools.
Okay, so when I'm painting and when I'm writing songs and when I'm, I'm destroying it, I'm destroying art. I mean, maybe I'm not a good artist. You could say my art is shit, but I'm creating art, not fucking destroying it, you asshole. Which one of you motherfucks paints? Let me hear your band, homie. Where's your band, Dennis Prager? What song did you ever write, motherfucker? Come at me about the arts, motherfucker. Fuck you. Chaos. You motherfuckers are the ones that are first and foremost to cut budgets for the arts. That remove fucking art programs from fucking schools. It's the right wing that constantly calls for that. And everyone on the left knows damn good and well one of our greatest and most fucking consistent fucking tools for dealing with the oppression that the right wing brings is our art. And that's why the greatest art in the world has always come from the fucking left, man.
Late night comedy, football, basketball, baseball, marriage and family, Lincoln, Washington, everything.
Everything, fam.
And now, America itself. You're gathered here to save America, the last best hope
right,
of
because you see, America is football, and it's Lincoln, and it's Washington, and it's all these vague notions of things. It's not. America is what's inscribed in the Constitution. And inscribed in there was the ability to own other people. The people who framed that fucking Constitution said rich white landowners are the ones who can fucking be a part of this Congress. America was founded as a white supremacist state. It allowed other races to live here for the purpose of being subjugated and forced into labor. And if they couldn't force them into labor, they pulled genocides on them like they did with the indigenous people here. And it's not that we're saying that like enjoying a football game is bad and going to church on Sunday is bad. But if those institutions fundamentally uphold this oppressive white supremacist thing, then maybe we need to question those institutions. I don't got a problem. I like playing sports. I played sports all growing up. I played in Pop Warner, and I played in Little League, and I fucking played basketball and shit. Like I totally enjoy team sports. Even as an adult, I've been on like softball teams and shit, like with places I've worked, like that kind of shit, right? And I had a blast. But if my participation in that sports also involves like the Blue Angels and, you know, Marine Corps fucking people marching out on the field and showing American flags and asking people to fucking, you know, in order to recruit young people into joining the military. Well, then football just became a fucking mechanism of support for white supremacy. So fuck football. But it's not fuck football. It's fuck that league. Fuck that corporation that exploits the athletic labor of the athletes for them to get rich. And then ultimately, again, of course football is going to do what it can. The NFL is going to do what it can to support the white supremacist power structure because fascism is the strong-arm defense mechanism of the capitalist imperialist status quo in crisis. The team owners, if they want to maintain their power and wealth and their ability to laud power over others, they need to maintain the white supremacist power structure inscribed in the Constitution and fundamentally a core part of what the United States was built on. He's only got a little bit. We're almost done with this, and I'll play some music and we'll look at some art.
Because you know, as I know, it can't be done without the Bible and without the God of the Bible.
Yeah, it can't be done without the Bible and the God of the Bible and stuff, fam. Because I was so caught up paying attention to what that fucking dickhead was saying, I didn't pick out a record. So why not play a Total Massacre album? Because it's just a good go-to, right? God, there's so many good songs. I think I'll just go with Thoughts and Prayers. Maybe we'll play 2 songs, fam. Shit, maybe even 3. Who the fuck knows?